alongside Geoff Schwartz. It's Thursday, time for everybody's favorite NFL show. We are here breaking down all the important games. And Geoff, we need to start at the top. Who went 3-0 last week? Both of us! Both of us undefeated last week. We will take your internet clapping. We can hear it now, right, Geoff?
Exactly, right? Everyone coming to tell us how good we're doing, and I hope you're just as good this week. It's an interesting card this week, buddy.
Yes, it's a weather weekend, folks. All right, let's quickly get started here, Geoff. Weather, a big theme in the NFL this week. Oh, boy, I'm so excited for the card. Super Six time, folks. You know what's up with the... All right, we'll start with the Week 8 lines. Here we go. Geoff, anything jump out at you here? My Jets are 19.5-point dogs. I mean, what a wild number that is. Any thoughts on the worst team in the league against the reigning Super Bowl champ?
I mean, I think I would take the Chiefs here. I don't know if I advise you to at all watch a second of this game, but if you're looking to play it, I mean, I don't know how you play anyone with the Chiefs, but it's bad to be a Jets fan right now. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, it's good. We got Trevor Lawrence coming our way, Geoff. Come on. Get excited. Big injury news about the Patriots-Buffalo Bills game breaking in the last 30 minutes. We'll get to that later in the show. All right, let's get to the first game. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, game of the weekend, Geoff. This one is fascinating. Line opened up high, 5.5. Instantly, Pittsburgh money came in. Steelers now 4-point underdogs on the road. It's a tough spot for them right off the game against undefeated Tennessee. I do want to hit you with a fun stat, Geoff, because I think I know where you're going here. The Baltimore Ravens have thrown for the fewest passing yards in the NFL this season. Yes, fewer than the Jets, who have played an extra game and are passing every week because they're behind by 20 points. Geoff, any thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens favored by 4 against Pittsburgh?
So the line strikes me as odd. It makes me think about this game a little differently because I would have thought the Steelers 6-0 coming off a big win against the Titans, going to Baltimore, the line would be 3, Steelers maybe, plus 2.5, plus 2, somewhere around there. For them to open the line -5 made me think, am I missing something here? The Ravens much better than I thought because the Steelers are playing, second or third best team in the NFL right now. And Baltimore offensively, you mentioned it, just kind of like okay offensively, right? Defensively, really good. But a factor that I didn't consider until I started doing more research is I kind of am worried about Ben throwing the ball up in the air a little bit too much. And the Ravens, they love forcing turnovers, especially Marcus Peters and Humphrey and those guys. So I worry that this becomes a turnover game. And in a turnover game, I kind of like the Ravens to win and cover here. But I've been on the Steelers all year, Jason. I can't quit them right now. I'm very torn on how I should bet this game.
Well, obviously, this is probably going to be an underplay, right, Geoff? I mean, this is a heated rivalry. We know it's going to be a defensive battle. It feels like 20-17 every year. Just a quick note on Lamar Jackson. Last year, when he faced this Pittsburgh team, 3 interceptions, sacked 5 times. This is a really good Pittsburgh defense. And, Geoff, I'm going to toss this out there. Do what you want with it, okay? Take away that Cleveland Browns win in the opener for Baltimore.
Yeah.
The record for their opponents this year, 6-20-1. They've played nobody, and they have not looked great. I personally like Pittsburgh a lot here. I took them. You saw I think it was plus 170 on the money line. I've got Pittsburgh in the points and on the money line. Let's get to the prop bet. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say you brought up something interesting real quick about this contest. Baltimore's offensive line is not as good as last season. So if you're looking for a place for the Steelers to really dominate this game, they can get after that Baltimore offensive line and limit the amount they can run the football. All
right, now you hit on Ben Roethlisberger earlier. He's the prop bet here. Over under passing yards. Ben Roethlisberger, 261.5. This is a pretty good Ravens secondary. But if you look at the injury reports, and we recommend doing that every week, Wednesday, Marlon Humphrey missed practice with an illness. That doesn't mean he has COVID, just putting it out there. And Jimmy Smith as well missed practice on Wednesday. Doesn't mean they're out. Obviously you got to check this stuff Thursday and Friday, but those are key parts of that secondary, Geoff. Any thoughts on Big Ben?
I lean the under here just because I think we both think it'll be a low-scoring game. And again, I think the Ravens are going to try to harass Ben as much as possible. And the Steelers don't have a vertical passing game quite to the explosive nature that I'd like them to have. So I think this is the under game for Ben.
Yeah, it looked like last week Tennessee played them, hey, we'll give you the short stuff, but they yards after catch, ate them up. Deontay Johnson was huge. Juju was big. I would lean under here, but I'm extremely bullish on the Steelers. All right, let's get to the next game. This is fun. Seattle and San Francisco. My bad. What? Okay, let's go to Seattle, San Francisco. Total 54 in the Northwest. Seattle, San Francisco. You know, Geoff, this is a great rivalry. Russell Wilson historically has done extremely well against San Fran. Again, a strange line here on the look ahead. This was 6 last week. It's down to 3. What do you think on Seattle, San Fran?
Yeah, obviously losing 3 points here, I don't terribly love, but I love the Niners here. Plus, I think actually they probably win this game outright, in my opinion, mostly because Seattle's defense is atrocious, right? They're 25th on third down. They get no pressure. They're not going to affect the game at all in Jimmy Garoppolo's face. And they're 30th in passing DVOA on defense as well. You have a Niners team, by the way, that's getting much healthier on defense. And more importantly, Jimmy Garoppolo is playing a lot better as his ankle is healed up, right? The first 5 weeks of the year, they're 22nd in offensive EPA, expected points added. They're 7th the last 2 weeks against the Rams and the Patriots, 2 good defense. So the Niners are starting to get in a rhythm offensively. I just don't trust Seattle's defense. Seattle's going to score a ton of points. I'm with you there. But their defense can't stop anybody. They cannot get a stop in a point situation. So give me the points of the Niners here, +3.
Ooh, Geoff, that's 2 games in a row. We're on, I think, different sides here. I really like Seattle. One of my favorite bets of the week. Geoff, we know markets, right? Buy low, sell high, okay? San Fran is at a huge high right now off the win over the Patriots. You know, they ran all over the Patriots. Jeff Wilson had a $112 on the ground. Seattle coming off the national televised loss against Arizona. They led by 10 with 3 minutes left. Geoff, let me ask you, if that lineman on the field goal kick doesn't jump off sides, what do you think the spread is here? And Seattle wins that game. Are we looking at Seattle by 4.5 or 5?
I mean, probably 6 or 5, and I would still take the Niners. Obviously, look, the value here, to your point, is on Seattle, right? Because it opened at 6 all the way down to 3. One thing I'd like to point out, too, home field advantage for Seattle kind of gone away, right? They're 5-9 against the spread their last 14 home games. That home field advantage, I played there, dude. It is terrible to play in Seattle. But for whatever reason last year, they didn't win a lot of games there. They only won, I think, 5 out of 8, which is unlike them, right? Before that, they won, I think, 6 every single year. Wilson have been the quarterback. They're just a different team now, Jason. I don't think last week, in my opinion, matters very much for how this week's going to go. Their defense can't stop anyone. I'm not betting on a team that can't play defense.
Yeah, they're on track to give up the most yards in NFL history, but that's to passing teams. San Fran, more of a running attack and no Deebo Samuel. I think that kind of is a big one for them. I don't know who beats you vertically other than Kittle. Let's get to the prop for Seattle, San Francisco. 49ers team total. We're getting exotic here, folks. I kind of like that. Over under 26.5 for San Francisco against, as what Geoff said, is the worst defense in NFL history.
I'd go over here just because if I'm going to take the Niners to win this game, I'm expecting them to score a lot of points. And I think over is definitely the way to go here. I'm telling you, their offense is starting to get in the kind of that Shanahan rhythm, right? They run the ball, the screen game is working, the play action pass, the quick passing game. Obviously, Deebo being hurt doesn't help any of that. But I think we're seeing that kind of those wheels, grease a little bit in that offense. I like the over here.
It sounds like the running game situation for San Fran. So Tevin Coleman may be back, but it could be the Jerick McKinnon, Jermichael Hasty show, whoever those guys are. We know McKinnon, right? He's had a couple injuries, but I don't know. I think Seattle defense getting heat all week shows up. I actually would lean the under there, but I'm irrational on Seattle. All right, Geoff, our next game. This is our first weather special, folks. Yes. Las Vegas on the road, 3-point dogs in Cleveland. The weather's calling for 24-mile-an-hour winds, meaning, the vertical game for Henry Ruggs and perhaps Jarvis Landry and whoever fills in for Odell Beckham could be taken away, maybe a run-heavy game. Geoff, this is a line that seems a little fishy. I have a feeling we're going to see Raiders money. Do you have any thoughts on the total, which has cratered? It was 56. It's down to 51 total or side.
Well, I love the Browns here, and they might make an appearance in the confidence meter coming up in a little bit. I like them for many reasons. You mentioned the weather. It's important to note here. Derek Carr in his last 10 games when the temperature's under 50, and right now it's about 51 in Cleveland for Sunday, but it doesn't count, obviously, the wind and other factors. 0-10. 0-10. He does not play well when the weather is cold. The Raiders offense right now, they used to run the football. They can't do that anymore. All their rushing numbers are bad. It shows on film. They pass the ball deep. Well, you can't pass the ball deep when it's blowing 25 miles an hour of wind, right? We know that. On the flip side, the Browns offense is built by running the football and protecting Baker in the passing game, right? Guess what the Browns do really well? They're number one in the NFL in run blocking and pass protection. Guess what the Raiders don't do well, Jason? Stop the run and rush the passer. I feel like we get a classic game that we've seen the Browns play this year, which is run the football, play action pass, keep Baker Mayfield in advantageous passing situations, and score a bunch of points. And the Raiders on the flip side, look, they've scored 23, 20, and 20 in 3 of their last 4 games. The Chiefs game was not normal for them over the last month. So I think the Browns play really well here and get another win and cover.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I lean Cleveland again. We know how to beat Baker Mayfield. The book is out. Pressure the guy. And the Raiders don't pressure anybody. Brady was not sacked last week. But, Geoff, interesting note on that Raiders-Bucks game last week. It was 24-20 with about 10 minutes left. So I know the final score shows they lost by, 25. That was a close game in the fourth quarter. It's tough for me to, really pick this game. I think there's a couple other better games on the card. But I would lean Cleveland here. That under, 5 points coming off the total just because of the winds. 24-mile-an-hour winds in the weather, 30 or 40 degrees, as you said. Carr has struggled in those settings. All right, let's get to the prop bet for this game. And, listen, he's one of everybody's favorite players in the league. Baker Mayfield, after his, he finished that game last week, Geoff, on fire. Final 3 quarters, unstoppable, 5 TDs against the Bengals. Over under 249.5 passing yards for Colin Cowherd's best friend. Your thoughts?
He's only gone over this total 1 time this year, and that was last week, right? So I would lean under here. Again, I'm telling you, they're going to try to run the football. I know their center, J.C. Treader, might not play this weekend, but they're going to try to there's a specific game plan that works for them, and that's what it is. And I think they're going to run the football, avoid passing as much as possible. So I like the under here. Again, the Browns shouldn't have to win the way they won last week, right? They do not want to win that way. So I think the under is the play here.
Yeah, the only problem is if they fall behind and they have to abandon the run like against the Bengals, Baker's going to throw big. But if they can get that early lead like against the Colts, we know it'll be a heavy dose of Kareem Hunt. I'm going to punt on that one. I'm not touching Baker props in this week. All right, and you're the master of Baker props, by the way.
I am, yes.
Fire with those. All right, next game. Ooh, I like this one. Saints traveling to Chicago. 4.5-point favorites against the Bears. Bears coming off a tough Monday night showing. They were fairly awful against the Rams. Did not get an offensive touchdown. Total on this one also coming down 43.5. This is another weather game. You're going to want to play Al Roker and check the weather forecast Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the latest. It feels like a big number. Michael Thomas. What's going on with Michael Thomas? Is he in the Bermuda Triangle? Nobody knows. This guy hasn't played in like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's an injury. He's fighting with the staff and the team, and something's going on here. Emmanuel Sanders on the COVID list. He could come off it Sunday, but I haven't seen any word either way if it's going to happen. So this is an interesting one. Geoff, I'll let you fire first.
Oh, man. I really want to bet the Bears here. I really do, because if you look at defensively, they're first in the red zone, they're second on third down, they're third in passing DVOA, and everyone who plays them this year has a passer rating about 30 or 40 points, much lower than they normally do, right? So they're built to play in this weather. It's going to be 39 degrees-ish. It's going to be blowing sideways. And look, Drew Brees, for as good as he's been the last 4 or 5 weeks, my buddy likened it to him throwing a Jamie Moyer fastball, right? When you watch him out there, not a lot of zip on the ball, right? And now he's going outdoors in the wind. I want to bet the Bears, Jason, but their offense is so bad. Their offense is a complete wreck. And you have Nick Foles throwing the offense under the bus to Brian Griese. I don't believe any of the apologies and walkbacks. That's really how he feels. It's really how they play offense, by the way. So I'm going to lay off this game because I want the Bears, but don't trust their offense. And I just think we're going to get just kind of a low-scoring, sloppy game on both sides.
Interesting. I will say, the number one thing you got to do on this game, folks, is check the injury report. The Bears came out of that Rams game beaten and battered. Allen Robinson, really their only offensive player in concussion protocol Wednesday. The center, Geoff, offensive lineman, Cody Whitehair, injured in that game, missed practice Wednesday. Listen, if they're without their center, they're without Allen Robinson, I don't know how this team moves the football. The Saints, by the way, the only team in the NFL, top 10 in offense, defense, and special teams, according to Football Outsiders. The Saints are one of my favorite plays this week. I just feel like the narrative, Geoff, is, the Saints are going outdoors for the first time. Oh, they're in trouble. Drew Brees on the grass. Listen, this Bears team is so overrated. They're a joke. of a 5-2 team. The negative point differential. Forget the Bears, folks. I like the Saints a lot here. All right, next up, prop bet. Ooh, this is a fun one. Drew Brees, a guy Geoff loves so much, over under 265.5 passing yards. Can you get there on 8-yard passes like 30 times? Does the math work there, Geoff?
He is averaging 200 and about 70 yards per game. I would take the under here. The Saints, by the way, had the fewest big plays in the NFL by far. I think they're 10 away from the next team in the NFL. So again, look, the Bears know they win one way only. And they're 5-2 still. So the players in the locker room, even though me and you don't believe in them, they still believe in themselves. And they know the way to win in this contest is play great defense, force turnovers, and hope your offense does something. So I like the under here a lot, just because I think the Bears, the only way they have a chance in this game is to not allow the passing game for the Saints to get going.
I would lean under here, Geoff. I think I'm with you. We've seen running backs take advantage of this Bears defense that's a little soft in the middle. Ronald Jones averaged like 6.2 yards per carry. We saw last week on Monday Night Football, the running backs for the Rams, Brown and Henderson, I think they averaged 5.3 yards a carry. Kamara and Murray are a great combo. I'm smelling 45 carries between those two and a Saints runaway. So I would take the under on the Drew Brees props. All right, let's move on. This is the game we teased earlier. It is a big one. This feels like one of those seminal moments for Bill Belichick, right? The Patriots hurting, 3 losses in a row. They go to Buffalo. And you know Buffalo's been waiting for this game. Geoff, I wrote about it for foxsports.com. For about 2 decades, right? I mean, the Patriots have dominated the AFC East. And the big news that came out earlier today, Julian Edelman will not play. N'Keal Harry, I think, was banged up as well. Geoff, your guess is as good as mine who Cam Newton's looking at here. Total has come down because this is another weather game. Josh Allen kind of been spraying the ball around since that hot start. Patriots, 4-point underdogs. Geoff, total 41.5. Fire away.
I think it's time we stop looking at the Patriots as the team, that has a logo on their helmet for the last 20 years, right? I mean, they're just a different team now. You cannot look at the Patriots and think to yourselves, this is the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady Patriots. They're not good, folks. They're not playing good football right now. They're not good on offense. They didn't play terribly well on defense last week. And their attrition's taking a toll, right? They had a lot of guys sit out because of COVID reasons. They've had injuries on their team. They have no weapons on offense. Defensively, like I said, they, for years, had interchangeable parts move around. They don't have those guys anymore. It's starting to show. So to your point as well, it's a very important point. Buffalo's been waiting for this game now for 20 years. This is the game where, at least for this season, they take over the AFC East. I like Buffalo here. I like them big. I think they win this game and put a statement on the AFC East.
Yeah, quick note on the Bills last week. So they didn't cover against the Jets as big favorites. But you got to look at the box scores closely, folks. The Bills did not punt last week. They just moved the ball up and down the field against the Jets. They had a fumble, a missed field goal. They moved the ball at will. They were 0 for 6 in the red zone. We'll see if the Patriots put up resistance. Listen, Geoff, this is not some hot take. I'm not trying to fire off. If you look simply at the rosters as they are right now, we've taken out the guys for COVID and injuries, the Patriots have one of the 3 worst rosters in the NFL. I'm telling you right now, the Panthers have more talent. The Jaguars have more talent than the Patriots. There is nobody on this roster. I'm with you. I like the Bills in this spot. Let's get to the prop for New England and Buffalo. Ooh, Stephon Diggs over under 79.5 receiving yards. It's unclear if Gilmore will travel with him. We know Cole Beasley's been hot lately for Buffalo. He had a huge game against the Jets. Any thoughts on Diggs here?
So played once, Gilmore and Diggs played. It was 2018, and Gilmore did a good job. 5 receptions for Diggs for 49 yards. This is obviously not the same situation for him. I would lean just toward the under here for a couple reasons. One is we see Josh Allen passing wise just hasn't been quite the same lately. Teams are just staying off, right? They're like, look, man, we're not going to let you beat us deep. We're not going to let Diggs stretch the field. Look, Bill Belichick will have a game plan for Josh Allen. They might not execute terribly well because their players aren't the same, but I think they'll have a game plan to take away Diggs. I lean the under here. Like you mentioned, Beasley's been playing very well lately. I'd lean under here with Gilmore traveling with Diggs. Yeah, I think that's a smart move. Just because the Patriots' only strategy, Geoff, is we're going to have to run the ball against like a bottom 5 run defense. Yes. Control the clock and hopefully get out of here with a victory. I would not be shocked if the Patriots ran the ball over 50 times in this one, tried to control the ball for like 40 minutes. And I don't know if Diggs will have the opportunities. That's the only path to victory for New England. All right, next up,
Sunday night football game. Ooh. Look at this number. Dallas, who people thought at the beginning of the season were the best team in the NFC East. They have 2 wins. They are on their 3rd quarterback. Andy Dalton with the concussion. It looks like the kid out of JMU represent DiNucci will be the starter. Hope I said his name right. The Eagles, 8-point favorites. Keep an eye on the weather for this one, Geoff. I know everybody's saying Eagles blowout, Eagles blowout. Yes. Weather may be very bad here. Miles Sanders, the running back for the Eagles, doesn't look like he's going to play. It'll be the Boston Scott show again. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, the Eagles is the play here, right? Look, I know it's a lot of points. It's 8 points. I get it. But what about the Cowboys has showed you at all this game will be competitive? I know the Eagles aren't very good, but I'll tell you what, the Eagles play very hard, right? They at least look like they care about playing football. The Cowboys don't look like they care at all about playing football right now. Now they bring in a 3rd-string quarterback. They cut a few defensive players. Jerry Jones called one of them fat on the way out today. I mean, they're just like a complete wreck right now, right? Their coordinator gets Tabasco in his face. That's exactly how they play defense as well. Like, I don't understand at all how this game is close, Jason. Like, not at all. The Eagles know they can come out and dominate this game. They have the better offensive defensive line, which is crazy to say because the Eagles are out 4 offensive linemen. The Cowboys are at like 6 guys. Like, it's just,
all right, well, wait, hold on. Zach Martin is looking to return here, and I believe the center for Dallas could return as well. I'm not advising anybody to put their money on Dallas. I'm just saying, Geoff, you've seen the numbers historically. Teams that start 0-7 against the spread, the rest of the season, if you go back like 10 years, are hitting like 61% of the time. Because nobody wants anything to do with them.
With a 3rd-string quarterback, I think we have to take into consideration the Cowboys. They have a 3rd-string quarterback. Like,
okay, listen, Danny Dimes is not very good, and he had the Eagles dead to. They had that game won on Thursday Night Football and somehow blew it. But it's not like the Eagles tied the Bengals.
Giants defense, by the way, Giants defense is not half bad. The Cowboys defense is the worst in the NFL. It's more of an effort thing. Like, the Eagles play hard, Jason. When you watch them play, Wentz might not be perfect. He certainly isn't, but they play hard, man. Like, they look like they care. The Cowboys look like none of that matters to them. Now they're going back on the road again. Like, I can't even. How do you make a case for the Cowboys here? I do not understand.
You can't. I'm just saying. It never is as easy as it. Never is as easy as it looks. I'll just leave it at that.
That's fair there.
I'm not backing Dallas here. All right, let's get to the prop bet for Sunday Night Football, and it's this is generous. Dallas over under. Is that 7.5? No, 17.5 points. Now, listen, Geoff, you've seen them since Dak went down in the 2 games. They had 1 touchdown against Arizona. And they had 3 points against Washington. 17.5 feels like a very tall order. I will add, Carson Wentz, one of the most turnover-prone quarterbacks in the league. Okay, Geoff, where are you?
I go under here. I just think this game is like, 24-10, 31-10. I mean, unless there's some weird plays happening, they're not going to score the Eagles. Remember, Daniel Jones had an 80-yard run against the Eagles, like just kind of surprised them out of nowhere, pulled the ball, ran 80 yards. The Cowboys have to do something like that to score points this week. They have trick plays, a bunch of crazy stuff. I know, look, Zach Martin might be back. I get it. Maybe Looney's back to center as well. But if a 3rd-string quarterback, it's not going to happen.
I was way off on Dallas last week. One of my bad whiffs, but I'm not touching that. I think the Cowboys show up here, big rivalry game. But more interesting than the game is, how about this Fox Bet offer? Geoff, it's incredible. Okay, for new customers only, $1 bet can pay you $100 if the Eagles simply score on Dallas. One of the worst defenses in the league. If the Eagles can score, a $1 bet wins you $100. Geoff, I mean, come on. If you're a new guy, I almost want to move back to Pennsylvania. I used to live there before moving out here to LA. I just want to move back and get this fire on this deal. I mean, this feels like a slam dunk. Will the Eagles score, Geoff?
What you have to do is you got to just get on a plane, fly back to Philly, make the bet, and just fly back home. It's very simple.
Feels like a slam dunk, and then you tease that 100, right?
One score. Of course, yes, you make this bet, 100%.
And it's even double the fun, because guess what? This bet not only is for Sunday Night Football, but also for Steelers Ravens. Now, again, new customers only, $1 bet wins you $100. Now, do you feel as confident, Geoff, that the Steelers will score against a really good Ravens defense?
Yes, I do feel equally as confident they'll score one time in this game.
Wow. So listen, those are two pretty good slam dunk offers there from Fox Bet. Check them out for new customers only. All right, next game, Geoff. This is I think one of the toughest games on the board. The Rams going across the country again, their fourth trip to the East Coast. They are 3.5-point favorites against the Miami Dolphins, starting Tua Tagovailoa off the bye. Total 46. I'll let you go first because I got a lot of thoughts on this game.
So the Rams are 7-1 in this early Eastern time zone slot in their last 8 games. The one loss was the Bills game this year, right? So they played very well when going back east. Look, if I told you that a rookie quarterback was playing against a team that's 7th in DVOA, 11th on defense, 5th on offense, you'd be like, yes, take the favorite. Don't bet on the rookie. But I think people are overthinking this because it's Tua. Of course, I'm betting on the Rams. The Rams are number 1 in run offense, and the Dolphins are 32nd in run defense. So they're going to run the ball up and down the entire game and make Tua make plays. I do not understand why people would consider like a rookie quarterback against a good team the bet to make. I mean, we would fade rookie quarterbacks all the time in the same situation. The Rams are playing good. We know nothing about the Dolphins, nothing about Tua. Hasn't started a game in a long time. Last time he played, he got hurt. A bad offensive line that allows a lot of pressure against a really good Rams defensive line. I think the Rams are totally the play here.
Yeah, it's a strange benching of Fitzpatrick. I think it's the only time in recorded history someone from Harvard lost their job to someone from Alabama. I don't think that's ever happened before. And, they've had an extra week here, with the bye for Tua to get a chance. Let me just make the case, Geoff, that the Rams, those stats you mentioned are great. They've played the entire NFC East, the worst division in football. They made the Bears look pretty bad, but that ain't hard. Like the Bears offense is garbage. And this is probably a little too incendiary. I think this will be the best offense the Rams have faced since Josh Allen had a day against them. Okay, Josh Allen went up and down the field until a jump ball interception kind of flipped the game. Listen, I'm a believer in these Dolphins receivers. Gesicki's a good tight end. I like Parker and the kid Williams on the outside. I think Miami can move the football. This is a risky play, folks. I like the Miami Dolphins to win this bad boy outright. I'm taking the points. I'm teasing them every which way. Give me the Dolphins. But I've also struggled on the Rams, right? I had the Eagles against them. I had Washington against them. Choke City for your boy. Listen, plus 160 on the money line is not bad value. Tua at home. All right, the prop bet, Geoff, obviously it's the Tua Tagovailoa show. I mean, we've seen him make 2 NFL passes. Yeah. I don't know how you could bet on this over under 229.5 passing yards.
So something to consider here, looking back to college and looking at his pressure numbers, right? How he did under pressure. He completed 75% of his passes with no pressure. Great, right? Fantastic. It went down to 45.9% under pressure, and his air yards per attempt dropped by over 3. So it comes down to this. Can the Rams get pressure? Can Aaron Donald dominate a Dolphins offense line that's about 20th in pressure rate? Yes, I think they can. So I'm not sure this number is great. I mean, you never seen him play before. I wouldn't touch maybe this number. I'd lean maybe under. I'm just trying to make another point to why I really like the Rams in this game. Because if you just take Tua's name out, you put Herbert in or Burrow in, you wouldn't bet on those rookies in their first game like this. I just think that we're infatuated with Tua.
Well, Herbert and Burrow have looked pretty good, even from their first game. I mean, firing on all cylinders. I will say the one case for this is 2 weeks to prepare. If you like the Rams so much and think they're going to roll, Miami's going to be playing catch up. And I think you'll know from the first series, right? If they, off the scripted series, can't go down the field with some ease, it could be a long day, Aaron Donald against Tua. All right, Geoff, now it's everybody's favorite time. I know everybody's been locked in, waiting for the confidence meter. Allow Geoff and I to have one more moment in the sun from last week's dueling 3-0s. This is a dangerous week. Geoff, you're the former NFL player. I'll let you go first. Go fire away.
So my first one, I believe, is Drew Brees under 265.5. I told you this earlier. The wind in Chicago is going to be blowing. That stadium is always cold and windy. And I just don't think they're going to win that game using his arm. If you watched him throw last week, man, like I said, it's a Jamie Moyer fastball, man. Ain't much zip on it. Got the wind in Soldier Field. I like this.
Tennessee bouncing back. Big Lee. I think I could say that right. I just no faith in Cincinnati. There's so much animosity in that defensive locker room. Guys are not playing. A guy just got traded. AJ Greed, receivers saying trade me. Tennessee needs a bounce back, and this feels like a Derrick Henry 225 kind of game. I know it's chalky, road favorite, big, but Tannehill, Derrick Henry get it done. Tennessee by 6. On to the fire play. Geoff, oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, I've been pretty good on Cleveland so far this year, and I think they're going to reward me with another win. I just don't think the Raiders are that good. I watch a lot of them play, obviously in the AFC West. I think the Browns are going to do what they do. They're going to control. I've been betting a lot of games here based on just trenches, right? Offensive, defensive line play. Trent Brown out again this week for the Raiders. I think that the advantage here is squarely with the Browns.
Okay, I'm going with Pittsburgh, folks. I like them a lot. I'm maybe the only guy who is really sour on Baltimore. And maybe it has to do with Geoff. Baltimore not covering against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. That cost me a lot of money.
Bad.
I was very upset. And I'm just down on this Baltimore team. I had them against Washington. They barely covered. Yeah. They've been sleepy in the second half. I know everybody's saying, last year off the bye, Harbaugh slaughtered the Patriots. Come on. The Patriots team was not that good. This ain't 14-2 Baltimore, Geoff. Tell them this is not that 14-2 Baltimore team.
Much different team. Patriots, by the way, are not built to stop Lamar Jackson, that offense. They're built to stop the pass. First of all, the Steelers are built to play really well against this offense.
And is Lamar Jackson healthy? I mean, we've seen him not run that much. Let's get to the lock. The locks. Oh, boy. Oh, look what Geoff is doing, folks.
Yes.
All right,
explain having some
to
fun.
The audience what you're doing here.
Okay, we're having some fun because we talked about this top. The lines this week, I don't feel great about them. I think just like you don't feel great. So we're going to have a teaser, right? A teaser, you can 6 points either direction. So here we go. Pittsburgh plus 10. They're not this game. If Baltimore wins, they're not going to win by more than 10 points. Like, come on, folks, right? Two great teams facing. These games are always 3 points. Green Bay is going to slaughter the Vikings. I should have put them as a confidence pick, but I like them better in the teaser right now. Vikings are they're 1-5 off a bye, by the way. The last 6 times off a bye, they're off a bye. They're on fire sale mode, right? They're just trying to get rid of everyone, move on to next year. The Packers have won 3 straight against the Vikings too. They're going to dominate this game. And then Philly, Dallas is playing a quarterback who we've never heard of before on a team that looks like they want to quit. I get the Eagles under a field goal here. So I love the teaser. I believe it pays about 150 plus 150 right now. So a little fun today. Have a little fun with it. Week 8.
I got to say, Geoff, I really like that bet looking at it. Now, a quick word on the Vikings-Packers. My only concern for Packers, and I would have had them in the confidence meter, I think it's 6.5 or 7, is that next week they have the 49ers. And you remember the 49ers blasted them twice last year, including in the NFC title game. So I wonder, having already beat the Vikings, do they kind of sleepwalk through it? Maybe they hold out Aaron Jones again, thinking, we need him healthy for that Packers game. But overall, I really like your bet. I'm riding Seattle here. That San Francisco secondary has the last time, Geoff, that the San Francisco secondary faced some receivers who could play, which was Miami. It certainly wasn't last week. No. And I like the Rams receivers, but they're not as good as Miami's. Seattle with Metcalf and Lockett, Russell Wilson in payback mode for the 3 picks on Sunday night, whatever night it was, Sunday Night Football. I like Seattle, folks. So there are the confidence meter picks. Could be a tough one for your boy, but let's get to Thursday Night Football. Atlanta. Julio Jones, do we know if he's playing? We're still waiting on word on that. They're 2.5-point dogs in Carolina. A rematch from a few weeks back when Carolina won in Atlanta. Total 51.5. This is in your neck of the woods, Geoff.
It is.
I don't know. I don't think the weather's going to be a factor with the tropical storms fizzling out apparently, or not getting there in time.
Yes.
But where are you leaning here?
It's already past us, but we're still going to have a little bit of wind and rain tonight. About kickoff 7-8 o'clock Eastern. I lean the under here for most of the weather, just playing outside. I think that Atlanta, obviously, when they're outside, just isn't the same offensive team. Look, the Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater covers a lot of his games. I think he's like 30-10 in his career as a starting quarterback. All he does is cover. But I feel like the Panthers are too trendy this week. I don't want to lay off the Panthers in a short week. I like the under here, kind of a sloppy game. And I just don't trust the Falcons to do anything. So under here is my play and moving along.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I did bet the Panthers. I don't feel great about it. It's in the, pizza, beer tab kind of money bet. I think I could say alcohol on this show. I just don't have a lot of faith here. My only concern for Atlanta is how they bounce back from that loss. Like Todd Gurley, is he going to come out with a vengeance, angry that he went in the end zone and cost the team the game? I don't know. I'm excited for this game because it's football on Thursday night. No word on Christian McCaffrey. Last I checked,
he's out. I think they said he's pretty much out. So
all right, good news for my Mike Davis fantasy team. Davis got shut down by the Saints last week. I'd look at Mike Davis props here. The Atlanta defense, they can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop running backs out of the backfield. They can't do anything really. They can't pressure the quarterback. Takk McKinley not going to play because they may trade him. Yeah. So Geoff and I kind of both like the Carolina Panthers. All right, prop bet for Thursday night football. Oh, look, Mr. Gurley. You see what Fox Bet's doing there? Will he score a touchdown? Oh, that's cute.
I still can't believe what happened last week. And I know that they deceptively edited a little video and put out that wasn't really the timeline of how things went. But nonetheless, just take a knee, move the ball in the middle of the field, kick a field goal, and win the game. Like, why do you even run the football in that moment? We saw twice this weekend with a pro game and a college game of two defenses allowing the offense to score and going back down and scoring a touchdown right away. Like, guys, pay attention to what's happening right now. I would take the over here just because,
will he score a touchdown?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Yeah, I think it's definite that he's going to score. Guys, I was on the Panthers last week against the Saints, and they did cover, but they can't stop anybody. I mean, the Saints went up and down the field. I think they were like 70% on third down. So the Falcons are going to run the football here. If there is inclement weather, should be a big game for Gurley. So Geoff and I both in agreement, scoring a touchdown for Gurley. All right, let's wrap up with the Super Six. This is a great slate. Nobody won the Millie. Can I say Millie? Is that cool enough? Nobody won the Millie last week. Geoff did not laugh at that, so obviously it's not that cool. What do you like in here, Geoff, in the Super Six?
I think that we're looking like we're pretty close on a lot of these.
Both like the same way on every game.
Which is probably not good. But I like some more blowouts than you do here.
Interesting. So you like Packers big. I would be careful with that, Geoff. I don't know, man. Vikings off a bye. Jefferson starting to play well, although we haven't seen him outdoors yet. Baltimore close, Buffalo, New Orleans. Boy, Geoff, we are in a lot of agreement here. We're both 7-2 in the confidence meter.
Yeah.
What game do you feel least good about in the Super Six?
I feel least good probably about Buffalo. I feel like I should have Buffalo by more.
By more. Yeah. Yeah. So Super Six, you guys know how it works. Pick the outcome of 6 games, win $1 million, And by the way, if you do win the $1 million based on what Geoff and I give you, we'd appreciate a shout out in some form. Yes. I'm not asking for your money. Just a nice, hey, thanks a lot. We're appreciative of Geoff and Jason for helping with the Super Six.
I would take a shout out. Yes.
All right, Geoff, any final thoughts as we head into week 8? It's a weather weekend.
It's already week 8. Can you believe it? Wow. No, I will say Chris Jones with the most savage comment on the Jets today. If you haven't checked that out yet, go on social media and see what he said about the Jets. It is, I think we should end this note here. Chris Jones said that they're a very good football team. People forget that because they haven't won a game. It's maybe the most demeaning thing I've ever heard.
Is there video? Was he being sarcastic?
I don't know. I think he was being real.
Jeez, just be nice to Sam Darnold so we can trade him at some point. All right, folks. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll be back Monday with Colin and Carissa. Everybody have a great gambling weekend.